Hi friends, so today I wanted to talk about a realization I had in regards to how I've been misinterpreting my colleagues sometimes. So I would be learning from my colleagues in regards to how to do an operation for work. And especially in the beginning when I joined, I question the operation every time because I wanted to know what the purpose of it was, why we were doing it in the first place. And yet sometimes I wouldn't get the answer right away, and if I kept asking, I would sometimes get frustration from my colleagues, totally understandably because I asked too many questions. And I guess I interpreted that frustration initially as them uh, feeling annoyed that I'm picking at maybe a weak point of theirs. But over time, I realized that that's not always the case. Maybe sometimes it is, maybe, but like what I figured out even more after talking and working and learning from them more and more is that they actually do understand the purpose and goals a lot of the time. It's just because of the culture of the company and because of the way business thought process has always been done at the company without much stimulus from outside. Uh, People tended to think and explain things in a way that tells the backstory before reaching the conclusion. And so it's not inherent for them to bring the conclusion first and then explain the backstory. I know in more modern business schools, that's what's kind of being taught. What's the conclusion? And then you go with the presentation. So conclusion first mentality. But I guess that never really existed at this company as much. So it takes time for people to rewire their brain while also trying to accommodate my lack of vocabulary, both industry wise and Japanese wise. And so they're trying to cater to my needs. And so mixing that all together, I think it was just a lot harder for them to answer the why right away. And in the end, they do explain it most of the time, and and everything they do has a lot of deep reasoning, and uh, I always end up respecting them for what they've always been doing. But yeah, I guess I now realize that the frustration that most of the people were probably I was feeling from them was more about them feeling that I was attacking their way of life, you could almost say. I mean, they've been working at the company 8 hours a day, every day for decades. And so, in that sense, the way they do the operational work that they do is kind of part of their life to some extent. And so now I'm asking them why. Why are you living like that? And that could be very offensive for some. And so I think that was the feelings I was receiving rather than my assumption that they were having feelings because I was attacking their weak point. And that's not the case. That wasn't the case most of the time, I think. Again, I'm assuming right now, so maybe I'm completely wrong, but that's what I'd like to think. And yeah, it it kind of reminds me of the quote. I can't remember the exact words, but like people understand others' action based off of what they see, but people want others to understand their actions based off of their intent. But of course, that doesn't always happen. So, yeah, it's hard, but I'm going to try to. I guess that doesn't really connect with my story. Oops. But I guess I'm gonna try to work with understanding the intent or understanding the context more, and not based and try to not only take in what I see, the surface reaction or the surface results. And I think that would be an important skill to have in the future if I'm going to try to be a leader. So yeah, random thoughts. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you guys up again another time. Ciao.